Hi everyone and welcome back to the F-Series channel for another F-Series Friday. So today we are going to be doing a mid-season mukbang. So I hope you've all got your snacks ready. So firstly girls, what are you all eating? I'm going to go with Kira first.
Sorry to be the disappointer, but I have had all my calories today. But liquid calories don't count, so I have got a raspberry mojito in a little can that I did steal from my friend.
Cool, donate.
I have mint ice cream.
Why did you open it like that?
That was awful. She just pulled it out from the top.
That's how I wanted to open it.
And Steph, what are you eating?
Well, turns out I'm the only person that takes mukbang seriously. I've got a whole ass plate of plantain, I've got popcorn, I've got grapefruit, and I've got marshmallows because I'm taking this... Oh no, I just dropped a marshmallow.
I have these chocolate fudge brownie munchies and I have this M&M peanut butter chocolate and some lovely orange juice.
I've also got chocolate.
Yeah, so we've all got our snacks. Make sure you've got snacks now. So we just go straight into it. And my first sort of question for you guys is, look, overall for this first half, it's not really a half because we've still got a lot more to go. But overall from the 11 races that we've had, what driver has done better than you expected?
Don't ask me, ask me.
Which driver did better than you expected and which driver's done worse than you thought?
Oh.
Controversially.
Oh, well, Daniel Ricciardo's done worse than I expected.
I would have said Alonso's done both better and worse than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah.
Because I expected him to do really well, but then he didn't. So I was like, oh, okay, right, you're clearly just gonna be there and I'll ignore you. But then he pulled it out the bag. So he's done a bit of both. Good work, Nando.
I feel that with Esteban as well, like if you're going for the one that's done better and worse than you expected, because obviously he was doing so well at the start when Fernando wasn't doing as great, and then he signed that new contract and it literally flipped up and he wasn't doing too well until obviously Hungary. So I think he's also in that sort of bracket of done better than I expected but also worse. But I think the person that's done worse than I was expecting is Valtteri, because he's not even won a race yet, and it's like normally he'd have a couple of wins under his belt by now, but he hasn't. And the driver better than expected. I think I'm going to go Checo actually, because I really didn't think he's going to fit into that Red Bull like straight away, and he's already got a win and has been doing okay. So yeah.
I think Checo's been doing great, to be fair. I mean, he's done better than any of the other Red Bull drivers that have attempted to sit in that seat for the last few years. So, I agree. Checo definitely better. Yuki's an interesting one because I feel like we all came in expecting a hell of a lot from Yuki, and I feel like he's not lived up to that. And I know it is his rookie season, so maybe I am placing too much expectation on him, but I feel like that we expected a little bit more, and I think the AlphaTauri is really, really complete and great package at the minute, and Pierre is getting the most out of it. Pierre is in Q3 every single week. Pierre is like best of the rest. He's doing bits left, right and centre, and then it's like, okay, well, where are you, Yuki? What are you doing? And Pierre is driving exceptionally well, so it seems difficult to use Pierre as a marker for Yuki, but also it's his teammates, so who else are you going to compare him to? I don't know. Yuki's an interesting.
We really did big up Yuki at the start as well in our predictions, and I'm like, obviously in Bahrain I thought, okay, we've actually predicted really well here, but like you said, I don't think you can compare it to Pierre, but then also like it's the same car, so they should be getting relatively closer results than they are. Like Yuki going out in Q1 and Pierre getting to Q3, that can't be all down to just him being a rookie, do you know what I mean?
I think as well, because we discussed we discussed quite a bit about the Mick versus Yuki and who we thought was going to be better there, and I feel that has been such a difficult comparison this year because the Haas is absolutely nowhere, so it's so hard to try and judge even Yuki versus Mick. And I feel like I would argue that Mika's coming out on top of that one. In terms of Yuki's having a lot more accidents and
well,
smashes
Mick's had
come
a
up
lot
a bit
of
more.
Mick has had a lot of accidents as well.
Mick has also had a lot of accidents, but more has his not just been by himself.
Yeah, but so's Yuki, hasn't it?
Yeah, but Yuki's been involved with other people as well. Remember with Signs at Baku? Like...
Yeah, but is this not because he's got a competitive car to be fighting someone else?
Yeah,
Mick is just at the back places up. You know what I mean?
Mick could crash into Mazepin. Okay, it could happen.
Or
no, Mazepin's too far behind.
Facts.
Kira, who do you think's been a worse driver than you thought?
It's really difficult because, like, I would look at the Aston Martin package as a whole, and I would probably say more Lance Stroll than Sebastian Vettel, because I was one that really bigged up Aston Martin. I think we'd done a stick or twist about it. We did. And I was like, go on, Aston Martin, you're going to be best of the rest. And it just hasn't happened this year, so I really hope that they're on some
What are you talking about, stick or twist? That's my thing.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I'm sorry.
You mean a U-turn? You talking about a U-turn?
U-turn. Sorry, I missed the stick or twist. That's what I was thinking of your channel. That's on Steph's channel if you do.
No, Charlotte's agreeing. It's like, no.
It's because at the start when we did the predictions, me and Kira were really fighting for Aston.
Yeah,
we was really like, yeah, they're going to do so good. And then now I'm sitting there like...
Sorry, I didn't mean stick or twist. That's someone on Steph's channel. Yeah, I just think Aston Martin in general, really, I just think that they... It's weird because, yeah, if it's a new team, you can be like, yeah, they're building themselves up. But it is literally Racing Point. And they were at such a forward momentum. I know a lot of people are like, well, is it because they held all the illegal stuff from, like, the pink Mercedes? But honestly, I don't really know why they've gone back so far. So hopefully they pick themselves back up next year because they've got a lovely lineup and they've got a lovely team. The team's been through a lot. And I just would like to see them a little bit higher up. So they've underperformed for me. Overperformed. Was that the one? Overperformed? Let me think.
They did better than you thought they would.
Do you know what? I will say Lando Norris, and it's not because I ever thought he wasn't going to do well. I knew he was going to do very well, but I think he's exceeded everyone's expectations. Like, I don't think anybody thought he would have such a high... Actually, just rest in peace for a minute. Did have such a high point scoring finish, okay? And I just think he's done so well. Like, he's just dragged that car so high up, and I'm very impressed with him. So it's not I thought he was going to underperform. I just didn't think he was going to be P3 in the championship.
Yeah, I think that goes really well with us saying that also Daniel hasn't really performed as well as we thought he was going to, because I thought that Daniel was going to come in and Lando was either going to sink or swim. Like, he was going to either do what he's been doing and performing so well, or go completely the other way and be like sort of not intimidated, but like Daniel's obviously had much more experience than Lando and sort of like sit behind him and like let him get into the team. But yeah, I just feel like Lando has done so well and like has silenced a lot of people's doubts about him. I think like constantly being in the top 10, constantly qualifying, constantly getting points, and I mean to be P3 in front of a Red Bull and a Mercedes, you've got to be doing something right, you know what I mean? And that kind of leads us on to a really nice point. We've got Max versus Lewis. I think we knew this was going to be a battle, but I don't think we knew how close this battle was going to be when we did our predictions at the start of the season. So yeah, girls, take it away with your thoughts.
No, we didn't. I think we thought it was going to be Max is getting close to Lewis, but no one's going to challenge Lewis Hamilton. Now it's like, oh, yeah, they are. I don't think anyone expected Red Bull to come out of the blocks and do this. I think at testing they looked really strong and people thought, they'll drop off.
It's only testing.
It's only testing, what?
Mercedes are sandbagging again.
Yeah, because last year they proper sandbagged in testing, but this year, no, Red Bull really came to play. And it doesn't help that Mercedes kind of are focusing more next year, which obviously is great for them, but at the same time it's like, I want you to still develop, but maybe it is good in a sense because we are now getting a closer battle. So you can look at it in different ways, but I think the battle's amazing. I think it's been really good. Obviously, other than the Silverstone incident, I think their battles have been really respectful this year, and I think they've had some good times. And again, it's I don't want it to be one of those battles where they're having a championship battle, but like they don't fight on track. So I like the fact that we are seeing them racing with each other on track. I hope it carries on clean. I hope we don't get any dirty fighting. Nobody wants that. I just hope it stays clean off and on the track. Helmut Marko, Christian Horner, all right. And I just think it's going to be good. So I'm really excited for it. I think so far it's been amazing. And I think going to more of the tracks that we're going to go to, hopefully in the second half of the season, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree. I don't really think the racing has been completely clean. I can think of between like Max and Lewis. Like, I feel like we've had a lot of turn one incidents which could have actually resulted in accidents.
Yeah, but it's hard racing, and that's what we've been asking for years.
Yeah. But like, I feel like the way that the Silverstone one has kind of... I'm bringing up Silverstone again.
Oh, yeah. Not the Silverstone.
And I feel like the way that one ended up playing out, it was like, okay, well, we've had hard racing all season long, but just because one of them has gone off this time, and albeit in a very large accident, like, now everyone wants to stop hard racing, and Christian's like, give Lewis Hamilton a race ban and suspension. Like, that is... No, I hope that we go into the second half of the season with a clean slate, even though I don't think we'll go into. I think Max is going to be out absolutely for blood because the last 2 races have not been good for him, and now he's second in the championship, so that is not where he wants to be. He's going to be out for blood. Lewis is going to be chilling, because I think Lewis Hamilton, we've seen time and time again, even though he starts the season great, comes into his element in the second half of the season. So I'm actually really, really excited because Lewis Hamilton is always so strong in the second half of the season. We've literally seen it countless times, and I don't know if Max Verstappen is actually prepared for Lewis Hamilton in this what's to come. Like, I think Max really needs to be like, okay, this guy is actually a 7-time world champion. I'm fighting with him for the championship. Let me actually realise what I'm doing and kind of prepare myself. So Max has got 4 weeks off. Go do with that time what you will, Max. It's 3 weeks by the time this video comes out. Go do with that time what you will. Go prepare yourself, because 9 races in 11 weeks is a lot. And Lewis has extreme mental strength, so I just want Max to make sure that he's got that same mental strength and that same preparation in him to ensure that he can fight at the top of his game with Lewis Hamilton as well. And also Lewis, take that time to, recuperate and focus on himself, because I want them to both be at the top of their game when we come back to Spa, because it's all going to pop up.
Yeah, I want to see what Dorney's saying, because I know Dorney is a big Red Bull simp, and like a lot of us here are like more on the Mercedes side of the argument. So I want to see what Dorney's sort of saying about the whole situation.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting to say the least. I definitely never expected Red Bull to be as strong as they have been. I did think it would just be another Hamilton year of dominance, with Valtteri challenging him. But yeah, I think I love the hard racing, and obviously Lewis and Max had that incident at Silverstone, and I just don't want the season to be, I think my thing is that I don't want the season to be won on crashes, if that makes sense. So I think fair enough that Lewis and Max came together, and that was such a pivotal moment in the season, and we're going to look back whatever happens, and that's going to be one of the kind of key moments of the season, which I think is fine. But for them, Max to, and I don't know, I might be a bit biased here, but for Max the following weekend to again have his race ruined, or like not able to kind of compete, and I know Lewis did drop right to the back of the field on strategy and fought back as well, but I don't want it to be either way, because I know either side of the argument will be like, oh, but they only won because of this, or they only won because of this. I think I do feel like Max should have gone into the summer break just a little bit ahead on points in terms of like performance and how the season has looked so far. And I appreciate Lewis has had races as well that he didn't do amazing in. Was it Azerbaijan? Did that not go a bit terribly for him?
That's when he locked up.
But arguably that was Lewis's own fault, so I don't know. Yeah, and I just think, I don't know, Lewis is so strong the second half of the season, so I think that little bit of a competitive edge for Red Bull going into the break and knowing that their mindset is so different. But yeah, it's going to be so interesting, and I think the main thing is that this season has just been amazing, and arguably fans are like, oh, it's getting a bit boring and F1's not what it used to be and it's not as racy anymore, so it's been so good to see racing again.
Yeah, I think from like the whole like Max versus Lewis, like there's so many situations this season where we could have been like, okay, well, Max could have caused a crash here and Lewis could have caused a crash here. So like, I really am sick of hearing like, oh well, Lewis like should have yielded. I mean, like, I'm not being funny, they're both racing for the top spot, they're not going to yield. And I also think with like the Silverstone crash, yes, it was absolutely terrible and we're so thankful that Max is okay, but that could have been a crash at turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, because they were at it the whole time. And if it was at another corner where it wasn't so high speed and it wasn't such a big impact, I don't think people would be moaning and saying get Lewis banned for this and that. There's no rule.
I still think they'd moan. Everyone finds any instance to moan with Lewis Hamilton.
There's no rule in the book that says you can't overtake around cops. You know what I mean? Like, this is what
don't tell Christian Horner that.
Oh, exactly. So I do think it'll be really interesting. Obviously, we've got Spa first up, and then we're also going Monza with sprint race, so that might come into play again, like sort of the different role they might take in the sprint race. And then obviously we're going to Zandvoort, which is obviously Max's home crowd, so he will have the advantage there from his actual fans. And I mean, seeing people booing Lewis Hamilton, I'm just like, are you actually like for real? But that sort of like leads on to the other side of Mercedes and just what we're going to think is going to happen with George and Valtteri, because this has been going on for about 2 seasons now. All season this season we've had rumours and news reports of George has got it. I literally saw a TikTok today of a French news report saying that it's not confirmed, it's confirmed but not out yet that George is going, and I'm like, is he though? So I wanna know what you guys think, because obviously I want George in there. So Kira, I can see you pointing, so go ahead.
Bring it to me, baby. Honestly, this is happening. I will talk about this till the cows come home. This was the plan since the F2 Championship. You'll go up to Williams for 2 or 3 years. I don't think it was ever going to be a 1-year deal. I think it's going to be 2 or 3 years. They opted for the 2 years at Williams, and then he's going to step up to Mercedes next year. Why would you waste your future sitting at the back of the grid? Only now got his first points for the Williams. Like, you just wouldn't do it when Valtteri Bottas is playing bowl and really, well, why would you do it? Sorry, Valtteri, that's a bit harsh. It's probably going to happen if the news isn't even out yet. Like, they might have done it now. I should think they'll probably do it around Spa though. I think that's probably the place they're going to do it. George knows. George is such a bad liar. His poker face. Why is he laughing every time someone asks him a question? I found your question funny. No, you didn't. You just know the answer. I'm really happy about that. Like, I'm so happy about that. This has been well overdue. I'm a very big George Russell fan. I will openly say that. He's such a talented driver. Puts the car... His placement of his car is very similar to Lewis Hamilton. He's obviously learned from the best and it's impeccable. So I'm really excited to see what happens. Valtteri, I don't think there's anything he could do to come back from this. I know sometimes he has good race results and people are like, oh, does this mean it's going to turn? No, it doesn't. It does not how it's going to work. So yeah, I think it's going to be a decision that happens very soon. There's no point dragging it out for no reason. I personally think it's been dragged out for a year too long anyway. So yeah, I'm counting down the days now.
This is where me and you differ, because I don't think this decision is happening for a good while. But everyone was like, it's happening at Silverstone.
Toto said end of summer break, so I'm just saying what Toto said. I listened to the big boss. I listened to the big boss.
I think the whole thing is that Toto has a lot of respect for Valtteri as a driver and what he's done. And unless he can sort him out and they can figure out what's going on, I don't think he's going to come and be like, okay, well, we're kicking you out. And also, I don't think it makes sense to do it that early. I mean, I think George already knows. Like, this is the thing. Like, he must have had these conversations.
But then Valtteri knows. Like, he's not a stupid man.
Yeah. No, of course he's not. Like, if he had any sense, he'd know that this is his last year. He'd know that he has an expiration date at Mercedes.
I think he does.
But equally...
But the thing is, I feel like it's very known, but it's not it's been set in stone thing. Like, both of them know that this is what's going to happen, but I feel like it's just not...
We're just waiting for the post.
Everybody, I feel like everybody in this whole community knows what's going to happen, and we're just waiting for when it is. But personally, I don't think it's going to come for quite a few races to come.
Do we think that this is maybe a respect sort of issue? So obviously when Esteban Ocon was in a similar position, no kind of news was released or nothing kind of was said until Toto had secured Esteban kind of drive and made sure that his positioning was okay. So maybe the George part of this deal is secure, but the Valtteri half of it and where Valtteri's going needs to wait until further into the season when the other teams kind of know what they're doing. So he won't release the George news until Valtteri has a seat or has
good thinking, Connie.
Gone through all his options. I suspect that might actually be closer to the truth of what's happening here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's like done. I think both drivers know that it's done. I think a lot of the teams, probably all the teams, know that it's done, but they're not going to release it until they know that there's options out there for Valtteri if he wants to stay, if he wants to go to another team. And I do think that's very, like, Toto has, like, a couple of weeks I was bigging up Valtteri. Obviously, like, he's been their driver for so long, he's not going to just leave him in the dust. I don't think that's what Mercedes are like anyway. Like, they're very, like, team orientated, and I just think that, yeah, I think it is a massive respect thing for Valtteri. Like, he's helped them win so many championships and like also helped Lewis as well. So they're not just going to be like, pick you up, take you out, drop Georgie in without helping Valtteri. So I definitely think that's what is 100% what's going on. Also, though, how do you think Valtteri is comparing to the second driver in Red Bull, Checo? Because obviously these are both, people consider them both as the second driver. And I just want to know what you think, because we've seen Valtteri have some shockers, like Hungarian Grand Prix weekend, but we've also seen Perez in sprint race. So it's like, for me, I think they're kind of even, but I think that Checo is just beating Valtteri. But I don't know if that's just because I want George in there.
It's so difficult to compare because Checo is a rookie in the Red Bull system. He's a rookie in that car, and he is building himself up. And Red Bull are hopefully, and what I see from them, they're giving him more time than they did for Alex and Pierre. So I look at him more as he's developing this year and hopefully going to come out the block stronger next year. I mean, he's still doing a great job, but I feel like this is a development year. Whereas Valtteri Bottas, this is like a decline year in a way. They're kind of on different paths, and I feel like Valtteri, been for the team for like 5 years now. So it's very difficult to compare when I look at him as building himself up. But I don't know. I feel like you just know what you're going to get with Valtteri Bottas, whereas with Checo, you always hope for a little bit more every weekend. So I think it's quite difficult to compare. But at the end of the day, you are going to have to compare them because this is the championship. We're not looking at situationships when you give out the final points at the end of the year. So I think it's going to be really dependent on how Checo develops over the last half of the year and how much Valtteri wants to push and how much fight he's got left in him, because we saw how Sebastian Vettel went last year at Ferrari at the end. I don't think that's quite going to happen with Valtteri, but you never know what he's going to do, what he's just going to give up once he gets the news that he's not driving for them anymore. So yeah, is he going to let Mercedes down? I don't know, because I think Toto's going to be a big part, as Dolly said, to get him a seat somewhere else. So would he purposely disrespect them on the track? I don't think he would. So it's very difficult because they're in really difficult positions, but I don't know. It just all depends. All to play for.
Yeah. You guys know that I predicted that I think thought Red Bull would win the Constructors. Now I'm not so sure. And it's not because I think Valtteri is better than Checo. It's because I think Valtteri's had so much bad luck at the beginning of this season. Or bad luck or whatever, lots of crashes or whatever, and I think that the second half is going to end up being stronger. He's got a lot of strong races in the second half of the season. He's decent around Russia, he's decent around Japan. Where else is he decent?
I was going to say Australia, but we're not actually going there anymore, are we?
Yeah, we're not going to Australia. But yeah, I think we'll have some strong-ish races for Valtteri. We're going back to Turkey. Oh, we're going back to Turkey!
Hopefully it don't rain. If it doesn't rain, it might be alright.
Hopefully it doesn't rain anywhere for him.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Clearly, as we can see, he can't judge the braking points when we're in the rain. So, but yeah, I feel like Mercedes with Lewis and Valtteri, I think they will be really, really strong in the second half of the season. And I do think that there are some tracks that will favour Mercedes over the Red Bulls. So are we going to go to Mexico? Because that one's quite up in the air still. But that is a very Red Bull track. But the more I'm thinking of it, Red Bull are awful around Monza. They are really, really bad in Italy. So that is a great opportunity for Mercedes, especially with the sprint race being there as well.
Oh, yeah.
And also, Spa is a Mercedes track. So, do you know, I feel like we've got a lot of Mercedes tracks that are coming up. Less street circuits, even Singapore, that's very Mercedes. But also Red Bull do well around there. So it's going to be very, very... Are we going to Singapore?
I was going to say, we're not going there anymore. I was like, hang on a minute.
I can't keep up.
There's been too many swaps and changes. I actually need it all in front of me whenever I talk about it.
Literally. But I don't know. I think Checo is a great driver, but I think that the combination of Lewis and Valtteri is really strong. It's worked for several years thus far, and I think going into the second half of the season, they do now have the edge over Red Bull. So I wouldn't be surprised if Red Bull take it, but also I wouldn't be surprised if Mercedes are able to kind of hold on to that and Valtteri kind of gets his act together.
Oui.
Yeah, okay. So moving on, I think we've had 11 races, and I mean, I think even the ones that we thought were going to be boring haven't been that boring. So I just want to know, what has been the race that's been so much better than you expected? Because for me, it was France, like totally France. Because I Barcelona weekend and France weekend, I sit there and I'm like, oh, not again. But for France, I was like, oh my god, like it's like that TikTok where it's like, oh my god, and it's like, oh my god. Do you know what I mean? That's how I felt with France. I was so happy about France.
I guess mine is Hungary, because I hate Hungary. I really hate it as a track. I don't enjoy it whatsoever. I shouldn't say that.
Don't say that. Me and Charlotte were going to go, okay?
Yeah.
There have been some good races around Hungary, but like, it's not one that I look forward to. Like, Hungary would be one of the first ones I booted off the calendar. I think I'd probably boot Abu Dhabi and then I would boot Hungary. Even above Sochi, I really don't like it. It's just Monaco, but race car form. I don't know. They're all looking at me.
What you've just said,
they're all looking at me really badly.
Because I don't like Monaco, but I love Hungary, and that's really stressed me out.
No, I really don't
like
Hungary.
You just said you'd boot Abu Dhabi.
No, she's Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, I heard Azerbaijan.
I don't know what she said.
No, I'd boot Scabu Dabs and then I'd boot Hungary. I don't like it. Anyway, and I thought I was going to go into this race weekend and I was like, this is going to be boring. Lewis Hamilton's on pole. He's going to be able to stay on pole. He's going to go like lights to flag. I was like, I'm going to have a nap in this race. And then I was like, we were on like lap 20 and I was like, it's been an hour! It's been an hour! Where's my nap? And I never got my nap. And the race was so exciting. I can't remember the last time I've been that invested in a race ever. Like, I don't even think I was that invested, like, in Monza last year. Maybe Sakir, because that was really exciting. But, like, this one was, wow. I just was not expecting it. Yeah, Hungary for me is just usually a bit of a bore fest.
Donnie, what was your race that you thought was better than you expected?
I can't remember, you know me, but I think arguably not Abu Dhabi, Azerbaijan, Baku. I think that just had a load of spice in it, didn't it? We had
from
tyre
like
failures.
lap 33 onwards, yeah.
Well, yeah, the tail end. We had tyre failures. We had Lewis just going straight on. We had Max had a tyre fit. There was a lot of spice in that one.
That podium was a bit wild as well.
The podium was a bit wild.
Seb and Pierre, like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just think like Seb would have had 2 podiums this season. Do you know, like that's. The way we were just talking about Aston Martin, like they're not up to it, but Seb would have had 2 podiums. Like that's mad.
No.
So, I don't know if Kira's ready to answer this question.
Kira's having issues.
Okay, we'll just move on and she can
We'll
come
just
back
say
to
hello
that.
to the loading sign.
Oh, she says hungry. Okay, and the next part is McLaren versus Ferrari. See, we did a video on this not that long ago, and I think a lot of our opinions might be a bit swayed because I know that my opinion has swayed a lot. Not on who's gonna, out the drivers, who's gonna do the best, but as a team, they've swayed. So I therefore think that Ferrari are going to pip McLaren as best of the rest in the Constructors, but I also think Lando will still be on top as a driver in best of the rest.
I can't remember what I said, so...
I remember what I said.
I wasn't in that video.
I didn't understand the assignment, and I said Daniel Ricciardo would be the best of them all, and that's not what I meant. I did mean Charles. Daniel would be the worst of them. Go look at my predictions. I'll insert them right now. My predictions said Charles would be
nobody cares about your predictions. That you said this earlier. You said this later. Therefore, this stands. It's like a will. If you write over your will, the new one stands.
Well, at least I can remember what I said.
I don't care what I said.
I took the week off that week.
I think I might have said. I don't know what I said.
I think you defo said Lando.
I probably would have said Lando and Ferrari. I feel. But
no, you said McLaren.
Lando and McLaren. Me and you were the same case.
Never mind then. Sorry. I'm changing as well then. I think it's going to be Ferrari because apparently Carlos Sainz is now ahead of Charles Leclerc in the championship, which is mega. So I think both of them are egging each other on, and they're really.
I'm
good.
sticking with McLaren, you know.
Same.
I am. I believe in them.
I just cannot stick with McLaren when I watch Daniel every weekend. I just can't. I just really can't. It makes me so sad. Being a McLaren fan right now is like, my heart is like beating so fast for Lando, and then it just breaks every time I even look at Daniel, because I'm just thinking, come on, you can do better than this. So I can't do it, but
yeah,
I want to have your hope.
He can do better as well. Like, we know he can do better. It's not like it's just a rubbish driver they've got in there. There is so much lost potential right now. Like Daniel Ricciardo, 7-time race winner.
I thought it was 8. No.
8.
9, isn't
makes
it?
it even worse if it's more.
Yeah. Race winner, basically. Come on, Daniel. Let's get it together.
I think it's really difficult, because when you look at him at when it was Renault, obviously his first season wasn't up to scratch as well. So it's this like sort of a pattern that he has.
Yeah.
But also, like, there's so much money to be won if you're best of the rest, you know what I mean? And like, they sort of need Daniel. So I really hope that over the summer break that he is going to go to the simulator a couple of times and like sort of try and get prepared, because I feel like this is just knocking his confidence even more. Like, we saw he left Red Bull because his mind wasn't in the right sort of place in the team, and I don't want that to happen again at McLaren. And he can't leave, well, he can, but he signed on for 3 years, and it's like, you can't really just leave after 1 year. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he will be better. But yeah, I definitely think Ferrari have got it. I mean, I think they've actually got more points now after Seb's got disqualified. So I think they're actually ahead of McLaren in the championship. So yeah, that'll be really interesting. So do you want to move on to the fave race of the season? Because I hope you all have one, if you can remember them.
Yeah,
did we not just do that?
Happened a day ago.
I thought we just had that.
Is the one that you thought was better, is actually your fave? Because I know my fave was Austria 2.
Do you know what? I just love
didn't
the vibes
understand
of
the
Austria.
assignment. on
What
the last
even
question.
happened in Austria too?
Lando got a podium, and I actually watched it. That's why it's my favourite.
Oh.
Ah,
Is this the one where they were all getting penalties all over the place? Oh,
Yeah, I
didn't
think
like that.
Sergio
race,
got
no. Didn't like it.
10-second penalty or something, and Yuki went over the line twice.
I remember that. Poor boy. I can't remember half the races. I am the first to put my hands up and say I really don't remember. So I'm just going to sit here and say Hungary. But I do remember. I do love the vibes of what's it called? Austria. I really forgot. Austria. Just I don't care what year it is. Austria. It used to give me the heebie-jeebies, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
like,
same.
It used to make me feel a little bit because Mercedes used to remember when they had the double retirement. I was like, I hate Austria.
Don't even. That was the worst moment.
I know. I was like, no, I can't watch this again. Since last year, Austria's like my home. I love it. I'd go as far to say I want to go. So yeah, I
want to
it.
go to Austria.
I want to go to
same.
Austria.
Right.
I thought it was
F-Series
Austria
trip 2022.
Yeah.
We'll set that to like half the Grand Prix next year.
Yeah, we actually have.
I am going to change my answer. I'm going to say that my favourite race was Silverstone because I was there and it was a vibe. So I won't say
I went to
Hungary.
Silverstone.
How many times has Kira said she's been to Silverstone in previous videos? I would like somebody to actually go back and count. This is the first time I've ever mentioned going to Silverstone in an F-Series video.
because this is the first video we've filmed after you went to Silverstone.
Don't expose our filming schedule.
Okay, we're moving on before we have an actual full-blown argument.
Sorry, my hair's fallen off. Just bear with me.
So the last sort of question that I've got for you girls, and the last sort of point that I have, is I want to know what your predictions are for the rest of the season, because obviously at the start of the season we did a whole video on what we thought the whole season was going to be like, but now we've had 11 races, we've seen Red Bull be much closer to Mercedes, we've seen Pierre put in like amazing races, Lando be up there, George and Latifi get points. I don't think any of us ever imagined that, so I want to know what your end of season prediction is. It can be bold, it can be boring, but I just want a prediction.
Oh, I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know. I think
Okay, go on.
that I'm not going to eat with my mouth open. Damn it. Championship going down to the final race.
Oh my god.
I need it not to for my sanity.
Yeah. I can't have it going down to Abu Dhabi. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Not again. That's
I
a good one.
don't know what to say.
I think that Lando will keep P3. Well,
Oh my god, yes! I just said that in another thing I done earlier. Yes. I think that's what. Sorry, I've just nicked Charlotte's answer. Sorry about that. I think he's going to keep 3-3 as well. Absolutely. I'll say that one as well.
Yeah.
Really? I think it's going to be Checo.
Oh.
Safe.
I don't even know who the contenders are. Let me have a look.
Who the contenders are? Bloody spoken about it for the past half an hour.
And Bottas literally took every single person out that could be P3 in the race, so that was like, what the hell?
Man's
Actually,
being big brain.
If I can't get it, none of you can
No
get
one
it.
can.
He's like, but do you know, it reminded me of bowling when you play bowling on the Wii.
Yeah.
Or when you throw it backwards and everyone goes, way! Very funny, very funny.
Okay, so I think I'll leave it here because I'm seeing Johnny chomp on a strawberry and it's going a bit into chaos mode, as it always does. But yeah, I want you guys to comment below like what you think your end of season prediction will be. Like, make it as bold as possible, and make sure you like, comment and subscribe, of course, because we're here every Friday, like you guys know. Girls, thank you for coming and having this mukbang with us. Hope you all enjoyed your snacks, and yeah, we'll see you next week for another F-Series Friday.
Bye!